Quality assurance of school-based PD program proposals. So our objectives, number one, is to explain the importance of quality assuring the school-based PD program proposals. And number two, identify the steps in reviewing and evaluating the school-based PD program proposal. So what is quality assurance? Quality assurance is an evaluation mechanism that ensures standardized development and delivery of PD programs. In the school-based PD program development framework, and as what we have discussed during the planning and designing INSET, the professional development priorities are first identified when planning, designing a school-based PD program. The quality assurance happens during the designing and learning resource development, so that after the designing and development of the learning resource, it will be appropriately and effectively delivered and conducted in the workplace, so that the outcome of the PD programs will have an impact on the enhancement of the professional development priorities. So quality assurance is our topic in this. So quality assurance is the evaluation of PD program proposals alignment with the professional standards for teachers and school leaders and its compliance with the PD program design quality standards. So we ensure that the PD programs, the INSET and LAC sessions, or any training program that is being proposed is in alignment with the PPST and the PPSS for supervisors and the Philippine Professional Standards for school heads if the participants are school heads, and to ensure that they comply with the design quality standards. So quality assurance of school-based PD programs answers this question: what to quality assure? So we quality assure school-based PD program proposals, which include the INSET. So what part of the INSET? We quality assure the 3-day PD program design, if it is a 3-day program design, the M&E plan, the pre and post-test assessment tools, the workplace application plan, the budget matrix, the curriculum vitae of resource persons, and the end-of-day evaluation tool. For the LAC sessions, we also quality assure the 5-month LAC plan, the M&E plan, the assessment tools, the workplace application plan, the budget matrix, the curriculum vitae of the resource persons, and end-of-day evaluation tool. So as you can see, the only difference there is the time frame. Who are the persons responsible for assurance? So in the division, we have the so-called Division PD Program Evaluation Committee, which composed of the School Governance and Operations Division, SGOD Chief, the Curriculum Implementation Division, CID Chief, the Human Resource and Development Section, HRDS Specialist, and the Learning Area Specialist, which includes the supervisors of all learning areas. This is in accordance with DMOU HROD 2024-0427 for the guidelines on the utilization of FY 2024 Human Resource Development HRD. So we have also the Quality Assurance Secretariat, which includes the Senior Education Program Specialist, and the Education Program Specialist 2 of the HRD section. So these are the persons who are. How to quality assure school-based PD program proposals. So the PD program proposals include the INSET and the LAC Session. The quality assurance of school-based PD programs starts with the submission of the proposals to the SGOD HRDS. Then the PD program proposal submitted shall be quality assured by the school's division office for 15 working days. Only school-based PD program proposals compliant with the set of quality standards shall be issued a certificate of quality assurance, be processed for PRC accreditation, and be implemented as an official DepEd professional development program. So these are the quality assurance criteria. A, the strength of the research base. B, the alignment to the professional standards. C, the target participants profile. D, the articulation of learning objectives. E, the session contents. F, the soundness of methodology. G, the assessment strategies and tools. H, the expected outputs. I, workplace application. J, time requirement. K, the credentials, expertise of the source speaker. L, gender equality, disability and social inclusion. N, monitoring and evaluation. And budget and costing. So these are the quality assurance criteria that needs to be evaluated in the PD program. So what is the evaluation process? First, there will be an individual review and evaluation by the members of the evaluation committee. So they will individually accomplish the PD program design quality assurance tool. This is the tool that will be utilized to evaluate the PD program proposals. Next is, once they have accomplished the PD program design quality assurance tool, there will be an evaluator's deliberation. So after this is the school-based PD program design quality assurance tool. So there is the title, the proposed PD program, is it an INSET or a learning action cell, the name of the school, and the day that it was received. So there is the general instructions there when conducting the quality assurance. Letter A, put a check mark in the box under the column not evident if all the requirements of the quality standards are not exhibited in the PD program element. Put a check mark in the box under column partially evident if one or more requirements of the quality standards is or not exhibited. Put a check mark fully evident if all the requirements of the quality standards are exhibited. And for partially evident and not evident evaluations, the evaluator must input the remarks in the remarks column the clearly articulated findings or comments or suggestions. So these are the other parts of the PD program design quality assurance tool, which have the specific criterion. You have there the strength of the research base. Thus, the proposed PD program is based on the result of competency-based professional development needs assessment. So, was the proposed PD program's content and methodologies are justified and supported by research, literature, or theories and other legal bases like DepEd issuance and Republic Act. And as to the alignment to the professional standard, was the proposed PD program responds to at least one PPST, PPSSH, PPSS domain, strand, and indicator, and other emerging needs of the department. And number two, the target PPST For professional standards indicators, the main strands in each session is indicated. Letter C, the target participant's profile, was the proposed PD program identifies the career stage and profile of the teachers and school leaders. So they are to put there fully evident if all are present, partially evident if some are missing, not evident if it is not found. And for partially evident and not evident, they must input the recommendations or comments and findings in the remarks section. So we have also here the articulation of learning objectives, the session contents. So those are some of the criterion. So during the individual review and evaluation, they're going to review and evaluate each element in the detailed PD program based on the quality standards set. They're going to evaluate the evidence of each quality standard in the relevant section of the detailed PD program design and check the individual attachment for consistency, accuracy, and compliance with the requirements on quality standards. So consistency, that means, for example, if your topic in the session objectives and the contents and the evaluative assessments are aligned and is based on standards. So they will check the alignment of the learning objectives per session. So that's why there's a need to have all the slides and the session guides be part of the requirements for submission. So the INSET plan is here. This is the template for creating a school-based INSET. So we have the INSET plan. This is the template for submission for quality assurance. So you have here the proponent profile, the school address, the school telephone, the focal person, the school ID, school email address. And you have here the INSET profile. So you're going to give an overview of your proposed PD program by providing the details, the title, the rationale. So in the rationale, we are to check the strength of the research base. So the proposed PD program is based on the result of competency-based professional development needs assessment. So in your rationale, in checking the rationale of the submitted proposal, the INSET, the evaluator will be looking into the result of a competency-based professional development that needs assessment, like the IDPs, the DepEd priorities across levels, the learners, learning outcomes, and the strength of research that is associated with the title of the program proposal. So number 2, the proposed PD program's content and methodologies are justified and supported by literature or theories and or legal basis, DepEd issuances, RAs, if any. So you must indicate this in the rationale. The evaluator will be looking for this in the rationale. Then you have the professional standards. The professional standards must be targeting at least one domain. If it is for teachers, at least one domain standard indicator in the PPST. The target participants must have identified the career stages, the position, the subject, and grade level of the target participants, and also specify the number of participants. Then we have the workplace development objectives. The articulation of learning objectives must be placed in the program description. The workplace development objectives must be specific, measurable, attainable, result-based and time-bounded. The workplace development objectives, these are the result objectives, the application objectives, the terminal objective, and enabling objectives, must be logically articulated to support the development of the target professional standards, the domain, the strands, and indicators. The next part is the session objectives in the content, in the INSET content details. So the session objectives must be aligned also with the WD or the workplace development objectives. Again, they must be smart and logically articulated to support the development of the target professional standards. Selection and organization of content. So the content or the topics are appropriate, adequate to support the attainment of the learning objectives and the expected outputs. There must be an alignment, there must be appropriateness and adequacy of the contents to the attainment of the session and learning objectives, including the expected outputs. Again, selection and organization of contents. The contents are accurate and based on credible sources of information. So you must cite the sources of information in your slides. For subject content-based PD programs, contents must be aligned with the curriculum standards. Contents are also organized according to the most appropriate sequence and structure. It must be logically sequenced. And on the methodology, learning activities shall be active, experiential, social, and goal-oriented. So you must put here the recognized best practices. Usually we use the 4 A's in the methodology. So some of the best practices like motivation, mode setting, activities, and modeling. Indicate how the assigned resource speaker will deliver the content and engage the participants in the methodology, and indicate the relevant learning resources. So these are the things that evaluators will be looking into the methodology. The assessment strategies and tools. So the formative and summative assessments must be varied and sufficient to assess the participants' progress in the target competencies. If the formative and summative assessments are varied and sufficient, so the evaluators will just check they're fully evident, partial evident, or not evident. On the appropriateness, the tools and rubrics must have been appropriate. The rubrics are available for performance and demonstration-based assessment. The expected outputs. The session outputs are concrete, like reflection journal, technical assistance plan, lesson exemplar, rubrics, and worksheets. The time requirement. The time requirement is the dates of implementation. Do not interfere with the school-based instructionally relevant activities, especially the actual classroom teaching of teachers. So that's what evaluators are looking on the time. Sessions are appropriately sequenced and adequately timed. So per session, the time requirement must be indicated in the duration. How many hours, how many minutes the sessions will be delivered. Then the resource speakers. The resource speaker, the subject matter experts, curriculum vitae reflect the expertise, the relevant to the PPST domain strands indicators covered in her sessions. So the resource speaker, the relevant experiences of the resource speaker must be relevant to the type of topic that he or she will be discussing and reflects his or her expertise in that particular domain in the professional standards being covered. JEDC, or the Gender Equality, Disability, and Social Inclusion. The training elements, the participant selection, criteria, activities, learning resource materials, resource speakers, and monitoring and evaluation, etc. promote the maximum engagement of participants from all backgrounds, disability, age, gender, religious, and ethnic backgrounds. Learning application. The application of learning thus allows the participants the opportunity to craft and implement their workplace application plan. The workplace application plan must be aligned with the set of application objectives. So the WAP, the output, the implementation of the proposal, the WAP must be also indicated in the result objective. So this is the template for learning action plan or the school-based program learning action plan. You have the name, the designation, the school, the learning area specialization, the title, the dates attended, the KRA, and the application objectives. Then you have the actions, the steps and activities, the timeline, the indicators, the support needed to be provided by. So that is the identifying the resource speaker. So it's just very simple for the LAC plan. So these are the templates prepared by, approved by, and the signature and the date. Let's move on to the M&E, the monitoring and evaluation plan. So the proposed PD program M&E plan will reflect the 4 levels of evaluation according to the Kirkpatrick's model. Level 1 is on reaction, level 2 is on learning, level 3 is on behavior, and level 4 is on result. So the evaluators will look into the different levels of monitoring and evaluation. For level 1, the daily evaluation tool must measure how the participants find the PD program. Was it favorable, engaging, and relevant to their jobs? So for level 1, there must be a daily evaluation tool that will be prepared by the program proponent. For level 2, formative and summative assessment tools that will measure participants' acquired knowledge, skills, attitude, confidence, and commitment based on their participation in the PD program are indicated and submitted. So the PD program proponent must prepare a pre-test and a post-test that will evaluate the attainment of the learning objectives. For level 3, the WAP template detailing how participants will apply what they have learned from the PD program when they are back in the job is indicated and submitted. So the PD program proponent must also submit the WAP template where the participants were going to apply what they have learned from the training in their workplace. So that's during the individual review and evaluation. The evaluator will prepare a clearly articulated recommendations for the PD programs that failed to meet the quality assurance standards for compliance of the PD program owner. So if the evaluator has seen that there are some quality standards that have not been met, we will input that in the recommendations. So that will be put in the remark sections. So how to articulate effective recommendations if you are an evaluator? First, you must use and remember the acronym TIC. T stands for targeted, I stands for instructional, C stands for concise. So when you provide recommendations, you must be targeted, instructional, and concise. Targeted. The remarks and recommendations point to the specific area, the PD program element of concern. So must be specific. Instructional, the recommendations mention details of how exactly revisions enhancement shall be done. So it should be instructional in nature. So it must be very concise as well. It means that you are not using excessive words. Must be concise, direct. So formula in articulating effective recommendations. So in formulating effective recommendations, you'll start with an action verb. Then the PD program element of concern and the qualifier. So you are to indicate the results of the training needs assessment explicitly. So it starts with the verb and ends with the qualifier. Indicate the results of the training needs assessment. So the training needs assessment is the specific part of the PD quality assurance, and the qualifier is explicitly. So there's the action, verb, the PD program element of concern, and the qualifier. So indicate the results of the training needs assessment explicitly. Another example, what did the teacher's performance analysis report? Indicate significant findings that further support the need for this program. So you have recommendation A, for example, review and improve the program rationale. Does it instructional? Does it targeted and concise? Compared to recommendation B, provide substantial theoretical discussion on the solo model. How exactly will the solo model support the improvement of teachers' pedagogical skills and later the learners' higher order thinking skills? So better than that recommendation B. Same thing with this. The session objective is not specific versus recommendation B, specify. State the behavior that is expected to be demonstrated and avoid adding other unnecessary measurable verbs. See the following, for instance, to describe how solo framework comes alive through activities and learning approaches that support higher order thinking. This could be directly restated into design paths-based activities in various solo levels. So this is how the evaluation process will undergo. First, there will be an individual review and evaluation where the evaluator will individually accomplish the PD program design QA tool. Then there will be an deliberation among the evaluators, and during the deliberation they will be using the PD program design quality assurance recommendation form. So next is the division program evaluation committee, which composed of the SGOD chief, CID chief, the HRDS, and the learning area specialists, the different supervisors in the different learning areas, Filipino, English, Science, Math, TLE, Social Science, and Values Education. They are the one who will be the Division PD Program Evaluation Committee. And during the evaluators deliberation, there will be pre-deliberation. So before the deliberation, the evaluators are expected to have individually reviewed and evaluated the signed PD program proposal package. And two, they have duly accomplished the PD program design quality assurance tool. During the deliberation, in the conduct of the deliberation, the evaluators shall be seated with their group mates. There will be at least 3 of them. one for LR, two for content. So they will assign a lead to facilitate the deliberation and a documenter to note the quality assurance recommendations per item, whether it is fully evident, partially evident, or not evident, and the corresponding feedback and suggestion. So the lead shall begin the deliberation by stating the title of the PD program to be evaluated and the names of assigned evaluators. Using the design quality assurance tool as a tally sheet, the lead evaluator will read each quality assurance standard and ask each evaluator to take turns in sharing their individual quality assurance recommendation per item until the last PD component and quality standard is completed and decided. They will take turns in conveying individual evaluation, the full evidence, partial evidence, and non-evidence of each quality standard in the assigned PD program proposal. And they will articulate explicitly respective remarks and recommendations supporting a partially evident or a not evident rating in a concerned quality standard. They will resolve varying viewpoints, if there is, by courteously seeking or providing further justification consistent with the quality standard. Step number 6, note in the quality assurance recommendation form the remarks and recommendations they raised. Step 7, consolidate the result of the evaluation through the quality assurance recommendation form. So there is a form for the consolidation of the result. So the documenter will indicate in the decision box the agreed final decision of the team on the PD program being evaluated. The lead shall announce the final decision of the team whether the PD program evaluated shall be processed and be issued quality assurance certification for compliance with recommendations or for provision of technical assistance. So there will be the final decision will be among the three. Will they issue a quality assurance certification, or will they issue a compliance with recommendation or a provision of technical assistance? Number 8, review and refine the quality assurance recommendation form. So this is the school-based PD program design quality assurance recommendation form. The title, the proposed PD program, is it an INSET or a LAC, the school name, the date received, was it the first submission or the second or the initial submission, the day evaluated, and the decision. So you have here, are all the quality standards fully evident? If yes, process and issue quality assurance certification. If no, return to the PD program provider for compliance and for provision of technical assistance. Then the recommendations for compliance are stated here per program element. So it should be very specific following the text. It must be concise, instructional, and T. Then post-evaluation, after the deliberation, the evaluator shall submit to the quality assurance certificate the duly signed individual quality assurance tool and quality assurance recommendation form, be kept updated on the status of the PD program proposal resubmission. And after the deliberation, the evaluator shall also abide by the agreements made as discussed in the signed statement of commitment and non-disclosure of confidential information, which is to be signed by the evaluators. So this is the statement of commitment and non-disclosure of confidential information. Protect and report confidentiality breaches, number 5. Okay, all forms, tools, and materials accessed and generated during the PD program evaluator and throughout the engagement are strictly confidential. If as PD program evaluator, they will turn over these forms, tools, and materials to the NAIAP at the end of the engagement. The terms of confidentiality agreement will continue to apply until your relationship with the academy has ended. So this is the sample, and they will be using this also. So this is the sample flow of quality assurance process. First, the client submits a PD program package, the accomplished school-based INSET plan with the complete requirements. So the division or the region receives and acknowledges the receipt of the application to the PD program owner that accomplished the school-based INSET plan with the complete required attachment being checked for completeness. It can be the HRDS EPS2 who will receive in the division. So these are the PD program proposals, the INSET and the LAC sessions. Number 2 is the HRD EPS2 will check the school-based INSET plan and the complete required attachment. If deficiencies have been found in the plan, the PD program owner receives advice for completion and repeats step 1 for completion. If the PD program owner repeats step 1 due to deficiencies on their application or failed evaluation result, the processing time of the application of quality assurance shall also cease. So it will stop. The new processing time shall begin once the PD program owner resubmits the PD program proposal for quality assurance. So pag bumalik sa step 1, ang processing time will restart. The processing time will begin during the resubmission. So this is the school-based PD program completeness checklist that will be used by the division. Okay. There is the decision for review and evaluation or for return to the PD program owner for completion. 1.3 selects and assigns maximum of 3 evaluators per school-based INSET plan. So the HRD, SEPs, and the EPS2 and the division will assign 3 evaluators, receive proposed school-based INSET plan for resubmission. So if there is a resubmission, only 1 resubmission is allowed. Number 2, the client will wait the school head or the teacher who have submitted the school-based INSET plan will wait for the evaluation of the school-based INSET plan, and the agency action in the division, they will evaluate the school-based INSET plan using the school-based PD program design quality assurance tool for 4 days. If resubmission, evaluate the compliance to the recommendations. So the assigned evaluators will do the evaluation. Using the program design quality assurance tool, indicating if the component and the quality standards are fully evident, partially evident, or not evident. For partially evident and not evident, they will put their remarks. So there will be deliberation and consolidation of the recommendations using the quality assurance recommendation form by the agency or the division. For 2 days, they will accomplish the decision column of the quality assurance recommendation form for resubmitted proposal. So these are the recommendations for compliance per program element. Okay, recommendations, compliance, and the decision will be also be placed here. Then receives from the program evaluator, the agency now will receive the quality assurance recommendation form from the evaluators. 1 day. Then prepares quality assurance approval form and quality assurance certificate if the PD program proposal passed, and send the quality assurance recommendation form from PD program evaluators if the application is returned to the PD program owner. The processing time is 2 hours. Endorse the quality assurance approval form and quality assurance certificate if the PD program has passed. Then, again, the client will wait for the quality assurance approval. The agency or the SDO will validate and recommends the quality assurance approval form and quality assurance certificate 1 day by the ESDS, and the ESDS will approve and sign the quality assurance approval form and quality assurance certificate. Dalawa yan siya na ibibigay for successful PD program proposals. Then, sa client steps number 4, receive the quality assurance certification if successful. The agency's action is to send the signed quality assurance certificate if successful. Notice of compliance will be to quality assurance recommendations will be given if unsuccessful. So if you have questions regarding the quality assurance processes, please comment in this video. So if we are talking about quality assurance, we are thinking of quality. So thank you.